I thought it was going to be an ordinary family dinner, the kind where nothing really happens and everyone leaves with leftovers and polite smiles. But right before dessert, my granddaughter leaned close to me, squeezed my hand under the table, and whispered something that made my stomach drop. "Grandma, why do they always interrupt you?" I stared at her, and she stared back like she already knew the answer. Across the table, my daughter Claire was laughing too loudly at Mark's story, cutting in to fix a detail that didn't need fixing, polishing the moment like she was editing a video. My husband Paul looked at his plate the way he always did when he wanted peace more than truth. And Lily, my 11-year-old granddaughter, kept her eyes on me, waiting for me to finish a sentence I hadn't even started. Because that was the problem. In my family, I rarely finish sentences anymore, and Lily noticed. Before I tell you exactly what she said next, the sentence that turned the whole table silent, tell me in the comments, where are you listening from and what time is it there right now? I want to know who's still awake, because if you've ever been talked over by the people who claim to love you, you're going to recognize this. You're going to recognize the quiet kind of disrespect that arrives wrapped in help. You're going to recognize the way a story can be built about you while you're still sitting in the room. It didn't start at dinner. It started months earlier, in a place as ordinary as a pharmacy, with a question as simple as my date of birth. Claire has always been the kind of person who speaks like she's already decided what everyone else is going to do. When she was little, it seemed charming. Lists, schedules, always deciding what came next. We didn't know the difference back then between confidence and control, because for years it looked like competence. And families like ours are trained to believe that if someone is competent, they must be right. So we let them lead, and then we got used to it. Claire grew up, got a degree, landed a project management job, married Mark, had Lily, and became even more organized, more efficient, more certain. She had spreadsheets for vacations, calendars for school events, color-coded reminders for birthdays. She was the kind of mom who packed snacks by category and labeled the containers. She was the kind of woman people call capable. And I used to hear that word like praise. Then I started hearing it like a reason. The day at the pharmacy, Claire called and said she was picking up Lily's allergy medication and asked if she could grab mine too. I told her I didn't need anything. She insisted. "It's easier if I just handle it," she said, like handle it was a gift. We met near the counter. Lily was with her, swinging her legs on a chair, humming to herself. The pharmacist stepped up and asked, "Date of birth?" I opened my mouth. Claire answered before I did. "June 3rd, 1956, she said, quick and confident, like she was reading it off a file. The pharmacist nodded and turned his gaze to her, not to me. He asked another question, address, and again, Claire answered. He handed the bag to Claire, not to me. It was subtle, almost nothing, but I felt myself being moved slightly to the side, like a piece of furniture that didn't match the room. On the drive back, Lily was quiet. When we stopped at a red light, she leaned forward from the back seat and said, "Grandma, why did Mom answer for you?" I laughed, because that's what grandmothers do when they don't want a child to carry an adult problem. "Your mom is just in a hurry," I said, smiling into the rearview mirror. Lily frowned. "But you were right there." Yes, I thought. I was right there. That night, I stood at my bathroom sink brushing my teeth, and the question returned with the foam and mint. Why did Mom answer for you? I told myself it was nothing. Claire was efficient. Claire was helpful. Claire was just being Claire. And if you've lived long enough, you learn to smooth over the small moments because you're tired. You're tired of conflict, tired of explaining, tired of becoming dramatic for asking to be treated like a person. But small moments don't stay small when they repeat. Over the next few months, the interruptions came like little taps. At the grocery store, when the cashier asked if we wanted paper or plastic, Claire answered before I could. At Lily's school fundraiser, when another parent complimented my blouse, Claire jumped in and said, I picked it out for her, as if my taste no longer belonged to me. At Sunday lunch, when I started telling a story about a neighbor from years ago, Claire corrected the neighbor's name in front of everyone. And when I said I was pretty sure, she laughed and said, Mom, you're mixing things up. Mixing things up. That phrase became a soft weapon. Not, you're wrong, not, stop talking. Just a little smile and a gentle correction that made it seem like the issue was my memory, not her impatience. And I want you to notice something. Nothing Claire did was loud enough to point to. That's why it worked. Because if you protest something that looks small, you look unreasonable, sensitive, overreacting. And the person who interrupted you keeps the same pleasant tone and says, I'm just trying to help. One afternoon, Lily sat at my kitchen table doing homework while I made soup. She looked up from her worksheet and said, Grandma, why does Mom always say you're wrong? I almost dropped the spoon. What do you mean? I asked gently, keeping my voice light. Your mom corrects you, Lily said, like it was a fact. Even when you didn't ask, even when it's not important. I stirred the soup so I wouldn't have to look at her too long. Your mom has strong opinions, I said. She doesn't mean to hurt anyone. Lily watched me, the way children do when they're trying to understand adult lies dressed up as kindness. But it does hurt, she said quietly. I didn't have a clean answer for that, so I did what I'd been trained to do by decades of family life. I changed the subject. That night, Paul asked if I was okay. He was sitting in his recliner, glasses on, voice gentle. You've been quiet lately, he said. I'm fine, I told him automatically. He nodded, because Paul avoids conflict like it's a room full of smoke. Paul is a good man. He's kind, the kind of husband who brings you coffee without being asked and holds your hand in the grocery store. But he's also the kind of man who believes silence can keep a family together, even when the silence is costing someone their dignity. Still, there were moments I began to notice, small ones, like the way his jaw tightened when Claire corrected me, like the way he opened his mouth, then closed it again, like the way his eyes flicked towards me, quick, apologetic, as if to say, I see it, I just don't know how to stop it. A few weeks later, I heard the word that changed everything. Confused. I didn't hear it from Claire at first. I heard it from Lily. We were baking cookies. Lily loved to bake because she liked the rules, the measurements, the way you could follow steps and produce something sweet. She was stirring chocolate chips into dough when she said, casually, Mom says you get confused when there are too many people. My hand stopped mid-motion. What did she say? I asked, keeping my voice steady. Lily shrugged. She said I shouldn't argue with you if you get upset because it might confuse you more. Something cold slid through my chest. Not anger yet, fear. Because confusion is a word that can be used like a door. Once someone labels you confused, they can decide things for you. They can speak for you. They can turn your disagreement into evidence. And the worst part is that people believe it easily because they're trained to believe children and middle-aged parents more than older women. I crouched down so Lily and I were eye level. Lily, I said softly, do I seem confused to you? Her eyes widened, like she realized she'd stepped into something bigger than cookies. No, she said immediately. Do I know who you are? She laughed, relieved. Of course. Do you feel safe with me? Yes. I nodded slowly. Then listen to me, I said. Sometimes adults say things because it makes their lives easier. That doesn't make them true. Lily's brows pinched together. Is Mom lying? I chose my words carefully because a child should not have to hold their parents' flaws like a rock in their pocket. I think your mom is managing, I said. And sometimes managing turns into controlling without people noticing. Why would she control you? Lily asked. I swallowed. Because she likes being certain, I said. And sometimes certainty needs someone else to be smaller. Lily stared at me like she was filing the information away. Then she went back to stirring. But the room felt different, like a curtain had moved. That night, I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, listening to Paul's breathing beside me, and the word confused kept repeating in my mind. Confused. I thought about how quickly a woman's competence can be rewritten when it becomes inconvenient. I thought about how my whole life I had been the one who remembered things. Doctor appointments, permission slips, birthdays, bills, names, passwords. I raised Claire. I organized the house. I ran the holidays. I held the family together through sickness and job changes and grief. And now, my daughter was telling my granddaughter a story where I was the fragile one. And the truth was, I had been letting her do it. The next escalation arrived dressed up as concern, the way it always does. Claire called me one morning before I'd finished my coffee. I made you a doctor's appointment, she said. I already have a doctor, I replied. This one is a specialist, she said. It's just to get everything on file. Better to be prepared. Prepared for what? I wanted to ask. Prepared for the day you can take over completely? I can drive myself, I said. I'll take you, she insisted. I'll feel better if I'm there. Feel better. Her comfort as the reason. Again. On the day of the appointment, Claire arrived at my house 10 minutes early and honked like she was picking up a teenager. Paul was at a hardware store. I got into the car and Claire started talking immediately, listing symptoms I hadn't mentioned. Sometimes you seem tired, she said, and you've been quieter lately. I'm tired because I'm human, I said. She laughed lightly. Mom, you don't have to be defensive. I'm trying to make sure we catch things early. Catch things. Like I was a falling object. At the office, the nurse asked questions. I answered clearly. But Claire kept leaning forward to add commentary, like she couldn't stand an empty space. She downplays symptoms, she said. She forgets to mention things. When the nurse asked if I'd been having trouble remembering dates, I said no. Claire said, sometimes she mixes up details. The nurse's pen moved across the paper. Each stroke felt like a nail. Not because the nurse was cruel, she wasn't, but because she was writing down Claire's version of me. And once something's written down, it starts behaving like truth. The turning point, the midpoint of this whole story, arrived with a quiet realization on the drive home. This wasn't help, it was replacement. That evening, Lily called me from Claire's phone. Grandma, are you sick? She asked, voice small. No, I said. I'm healthy. But Mom said you're getting worse when you're tired, Lily whispered. I closed my eyes. The story was already reaching her. And if it reached Lily, it would reach teachers, doctors, neighbors, anyone Claire spoke to with that confident tone that makes people nod. I knew then that if I didn't stop it, I would eventually become the version of myself Claire described. Not because it was true, but because people treat you like what they believe you are. If they believe you are confused, they stop listening. If they stop listening, you speak less. If you speak less, you become quieter. And then, when you finally protest, your protest sounds like confusion. It's a trap built out of politeness. A few days later, the trap snapped tighter. We were at a small neighborhood gathering. Nothing formal, just people I'd known for years. The kind of neighbors who still remember your old dog's name. Someone asked me about a trip Paul and I took long ago. I smiled, started to answer, and Claire, standing beside me, arm around my shoulder like a manager, said, "Oh, Mom gets overwhelmed in crowds. She's been a little forgetful lately, so I keep an eye on her." She said it like she was describing a weather forecast. People nodded with sympathy. A woman patted my hand. "Oh, honey," she said softly. "It's good you have Claire." Good you have Claire. I felt heat rush to my face. I opened my mouth. Paul was behind us, holding a plate of food. I saw him freeze. I saw his eyes sharpen, the smallest crack in his usual calm. He took one step forward like he might finally speak. And then, like always, he stopped. His shoulders lowered, his gaze dropped. Peace over truth. And in that moment, something inside me didn't just hurt, it woke up. Because I realized if I let Claire tell that story in public, people would start repeating it. And once strangers believe it, your own family believes it faster. On the drive home, Paul said quietly, "You didn't look happy back there." I stared out the window. "I wasn't," I said. He was silent for a long beat, like he was choosing between two roads. Then he said, almost to himself, "I hate when she talks about you like you're not there." My throat tightened. "You notice," I said. Paul's hands gripped the steering wheel. "I notice," he admitted. And he didn't say anything else, but for the first time, he didn't pretend he didn't see it. The next big moment came at Lily's school concert. The gym smelled like floor polish and popcorn. Parents sat on folding chairs, holding programs, lifting phones like small mirrors. Lily was on the risers in the front row, hair brushed neatly, eyes bright with nervous excitement. Paul and I sat near the aisle. Lily rushed in late, breathless, wearing that expression she wears when time isn't obeying her. She leaned over me and whispered, "Mom, did you bring the permission form?" "Yes," I said, and I pulled it from my purse. She snatched it, glanced at it, and said without thinking, "Good, I didn't want you to forget." Forget. The word landed like a slap. Not because it was loud, because it was casual, like it was normal to assume I would fail. Lily turned her head slightly from the risers and looked straight at me. She was watching. She had heard it. Her expression shifted, subtle, like a small door closing in her mind. I kept my voice low, calm, so only Claire could hear. "I didn't forget," I said, "and I'm not confused." Claire blinked, startled. Then she smiled too quickly, that smile that smooths over discomfort. "Of course," she whispered back, like even my defense was proof. But something had shifted. For the first time, I didn't laugh it off. For the first time, I stated the truth out loud, and Lily saw me do it. After the concert, Lily ran to me and hugged me hard. "You were right there," she whispered, like she was repeating the pharmacy moment back to me. "You're always right there." I held her and thought, someone sees it. Someone sees me. A week later, Claire invited us over for dinner. "Just a family night," she said. "Nothing fancy." When she said nothing fancy, I should have known she meant everything controlled. We arrived at their house with a pie Paul had picked up. Claire took it from him and placed it exactly where she wanted on the counter. Lily hugged me longer than usual, her arms tight around my waist. "I'm glad you're here," she said. Claire said, "Mom, sit there," pointing to the end of the table, farthest from the kitchen, farthest from where the conversations usually started. It was subtle again, a placement, a position. Dinner began with Mark telling a story about a restaurant. He was a decent man, polite, the kind of husband who lets his wife run the household because it's easier than arguing. He described a terrible waiter, a forgotten order, a funny mistake. Everyone laughed. I smiled and said, "Oh, I've been there, years ago, with your father after his promotion." Claire turned her head toward me with that quick, sharp attention. "No, Mom, that's a different place." "I don't think so. It was on Oak Street, near the old theater." Claire laughed, bright and dismissively. "Mom, that place closed years ago. You're thinking of something else." I felt my cheeks warm. "I remember the sign," I said. "I remember—" Claire cut in, still smiling. "It's okay, they sound similar." Sound similar. Like my memory was a fuzzy radio station. I looked at Paul, expecting him to say something. Paul's mouth opened slightly, then closed. His eyes dropped to his plate. But this time, he didn't look peaceful. He looked ashamed. Mark tried to change the subject, asking Paul about a home repair. Claire answered for Paul too, which was her habit. She answered for everyone. Because when you believe your voice is the most efficient, you start treating other people's voices like wasted time. I took a breath and began telling a small story, nothing dramatic, just a memory about Lily when she was little, how she used to sing in the bathtub and pretend the shampoo bottle was a microphone. I hadn't even reached the funny part when Claire interrupted to correct the age Lily was in. "She was 5, not 4, Claire said. "It was around then," I said. Claire shook her head. "No, Mom, it matters. She was 5. That was the year we moved." I smiled politely, swallowing the irritation. "Okay, 5. I tried again, and again Claire cut in, fixing the name of the song Lily used to sing. "It was Let It Go, not Part of the World," she said, laughing. I blinked. "Maybe she sang both," I said. Claire's smile sharpened. "Mom, you're mixing things up." There it was again, that familiar soft blade. Lily's fork stopped moving. She stared at her mother, then at me. She looked at Paul, then at Mark. She looked like someone trying to solve a puzzle the adults were pretending didn't exist. Then Lily set her fork down carefully and asked her mother, "Why do you always correct Grandma?" Claire was surprised. "Do what?" "Correct Grandma," Lily said. Her voice wasn't rude, it was clear. "Even when she's not done talking." Claire laughed like it was cute. "Lily, don't start." "I'm not starting," Lily said. "I'm asking." Claire's tone tightened. "Grandma gets confused sometimes, sweetheart. I'm just helping." There it was, spoken plainly in front of everyone. Confused. And the worst part was how naturally it came out of Claire's mouth, like she'd been practicing it. Lily's eyes widened. "But you didn't even let her finish," she said, her voice trembling now, not with fear, with something harder, indignation. Claire recovered first. She always recovers first. "Lily," she said with a laugh that sounded wrong, "that's not a nice thing to say." Lily didn't look away. "Why isn't it nice if it's true?" she asked. Claire's cheeks flushed. "It's not true," she said quickly. "Grandma is sensitive and sometimes she gets overwhelmed, and I'm just trying to make sure—" Paul interrupted. That's the part that still shocks me when I replay it. Paul, my gentle husband, the man who avoids conflict, the man who chooses peace, finally set down his fork. His voice was calm, steady. "She's right," he said. Claire turned to him as if he'd slapped her. "Dad?" Paul held up a hand. "No, listen." The room felt suddenly smaller. "You've been speaking for your mother," Paul said. "You've been correcting her. You've been labeling her, and you call it help." He paused. "But it's not help." Mark looked up, startled. Claire's eyes darted to him like she was searching for backup. Mark stayed silent. Claire looked at me. For the first time, I didn't look away. I didn't smile to smooth it over. I didn't take the blame to make it easier. I just met her gaze, and I let her sit inside the discomfort she had created. Lily's hand squeezed my arm. Claire tried another strategy. "Mom, you know I love you. she said, voice suddenly soft. I'm just worried. You've been forgetting things. You've been quieter. I've been quieter because you don't let me talk, I said. The words surprised even me because they came out clean and simple. Not angry, not dramatic, just true. Claire blinked. That's not fair, she said. I'm not trying to be fair, I replied. I'm trying to be honest. Mark cleared his throat like he wanted the earth to swallow him. Maybe we can just... No, Lily said, and her voice cracked. We always pretend, and Grandma is right there. Claire stared at her daughter like she didn't recognize her, and in that moment, I saw something else. Claire wasn't just controlling me, she was teaching Lily what it looks like to talk over women, to correct women, to treat older women like background noise. She was teaching Lily that love can sound like dismissal. I couldn't let that continue. The dinner ended awkwardly. No one yelled, no one threw plates. Claire held her smile until we stood to leave, and then her eyes turned cold for half a second, the way they do when she feels challenged. Lily hugged me tight at the door and whispered, I'm sorry, like it was her job to fix what her mother broke. I told her, it's not your job, and I meant it. On the drive home, Paul's hands gripped the steering wheel harder than usual. The streetlights slid across his face. I should have said something sooner, he said quietly. Yes, I replied. He nodded. I was afraid, he admitted, afraid of losing Claire. I looked out the window and said, We're losing me. He didn't respond right away. Sometimes the truth takes a moment to settle. Claire texted me the next morning, not an apology, a narrative. She wrote, Mom, last night got out of hand. Lily was disrespectful and you didn't correct her. I'm trying to help you because I'm worried. You've been forgetful and sensitive, and I don't want you getting overwhelmed in public. We need to talk about boundaries. Boundaries. The word people use when they want to keep control, but sound reasonable. I read the text twice, then put my phone down and made myself another cup of coffee. I didn't reply immediately. That was new for me. I used to respond quickly, smoothing things over, reassuring Claire, protecting her feelings. But Lily's sentence kept repeating in my mind. Why won't anyone let you finish your sentences? If I replied the way I'd always had, I would be cooperating again. So I made a decision, quiet and firm. I stopped participating in Claire's version of me. I canceled the follow-up appointment Claire had scheduled without telling me. I called the office myself and said politely, I won't be needing that. When the receptionist asked if my daughter had requested it, I said, my daughter doesn't schedule my medical care. I started answering questions before Claire could. When she tried to speak over me at a family gathering, I held up my hand, not aggressively, just calmly, and said, let me finish. The first time I did it, the room went awkward. Claire blinked like someone had turned on bright lights, but I kept speaking. I finished the sentence. It's amazing how quickly people adjust when you stop shrinking. Claire didn't like the change. 2 weeks after the dinner, she called me and asked if we could talk. The way she said talk sounded like a meeting. Paul was in the yard when she called, fixing a loose board. I answered the phone, and Claire's voice came through controlled and bright. Mom, she said, I want to clear the air. Okay, I replied. I think Lily was inappropriate, she said quickly. She undermined me in front of everyone. I paused. She asked a question, I said. Claire exhaled, irritated. Mom, you're making me sound like a villain. I'm trying to help you. Help. Again. Claire, I said, you can love me and still hurt me. Silence on the line. Then she tried another angle. I'm just worried, she said. You're older. Things change. I don't want you to be embarrassed if you forget something. I'm embarrassed when you interrupt me, I said. Claire laughed, a short, disbelieving sound. That's ridiculous. Everyone interrupts. No, I said. Everyone doesn't build a story about someone being confused. Claire went quiet. I could almost hear her recalculating. You never said I was confused, she lied. I didn't raise my voice. Lily heard you say it. Another pause, longer. Then Claire said something that revealed everything. You weren't supposed to hear that. Not, I'm sorry. Not, I shouldn't have said that. Just, you weren't supposed to hear it. That's the difference between a mistake and a strategy. If you didn't want me to know, I said softly, you shouldn't have said it. Claire's anger surfaced under the polish. So what do you want? She snapped. I took a breath. I want you to speak to me, not about me. Silence. And I want you to stop correcting me as if my voice is a problem to manage. If I say something wrong, you can let me be wrong like you let Mark be wrong, like you let Dad be wrong, like you let yourself be wrong. Claire scoffed. So you want me to just sit there and watch you embarrass yourself? There it was. Her fear. Not my safety, not my dignity. Her image, her discomfort. I'm not embarrassing myself, I said. You're embarrassing me. Claire's voice dropped into that dangerous calm. Mom, you're being dramatic. I'm being clear, I replied. There's a difference. Claire didn't apologize. She didn't soften. Instead, she said, fine, like she was granting a request. And then she added, but don't turn Lily against me. I almost laughed. Lily isn't against you, I said. Lily is against disrespect. Claire hung up shortly after that, and I sat with the phone in my hand, heart pounding, not from fear, from the strange feeling of taking up space again. It felt unfamiliar. It felt like walking after a long illness and realizing your legs still work. The weeks that followed were quiet in a new way. Claire called less. When she did call, her tone was cautious, like she wasn't sure which version of me would answer. I visited Lily at school events and birthdays. Claire kept her smile, but the interruptions slowed. Not because she suddenly respected me, because Lily was watching now in a different way. Lily had learned to name what she saw, and once a child names something, it becomes harder to pretend. Here's what I learned from all of this, and it's the part I want you to take with you. Sometimes the deepest betrayals don't come with screaming or slammed doors. They come with calm voices that correct you. They come with polite smiles that talk over you. They come with a story told about you while you're still in the room, a story that makes it easy for everyone else to stop listening. Words like confused, overwhelmed, forgetful, sensitive. Maybe you are tired sometimes. Maybe you do forget a name sometimes. That's not the point. The point is what those words are used for. Are they used with love, or are they used like tools to take your place? I wasn't confused. I was shrinking, and it took an 11-year-old to stop everything and ask the question everyone else was avoiding. Why won't anyone let Grandma finish her sentences? If you've ever been in a room full of people who claim to love you and still felt yourself disappearing, remember this. Dignity doesn't require a fight. It requires presence. It requires you to stop cooperating with a version of yourself that someone else benefits from. The next time someone interrupts you, try this. Don't laugh. Don't shrink. Don't rush your words to fit into the space they left you. Hold the moment and say, "Let me finish." It will feel uncomfortable. It will feel like you are causing a problem, but you're not causing a problem. You're revealing one. And if the people around you get angry when you ask to finish your sentence, pay attention, because the people who love you should want to hear you. The people who respect you should make room for your voice. That night at dinner, Lily gave me back something I didn't realize I had lost: the right to be heard in my own family. And the best part is that once you stop disappearing, it becomes very hard for anyone to manage you like a problem again. So tell me, before you go, have you ever been interrupted so often you started to speak less? Have you ever felt yourself getting smaller in a room that was supposed to be safe? And if someone had finally let you finish, what would you have said? Because maybe, somewhere in your life, there's a Lily watching you, waiting for you to remember that you are allowed to be heard.
If this story touched your heart, you're welcome to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for being here. Until the next story.